Hey there guys, this is Vile Self, bringing you some gameplay on Black Ops 2 here. I'm going to talk about the HDCP issue that's been circulating around the internet with the PlayStation 4. Will you be able to use your external capture devices with the PlayStation 4? Personally, I think you will be able to. I have some reasons to think that. There are a lot of people that think it's not going to happen, basically because the PlayStation 3 had the video games encrypted via HDCP, so people are thinking that the PS4 is going to have the same thing. There's also a video that's been surfaced by some guys at Machinima who claim to have a reliable source that told them that video games will not be able to be captured externally and blah blah blah. They did not name their source, they didn't link their source, they didn't even quote their source, so I'm taking that with a grain of salt. There are other more reliable sources in my opinion that state the alternate truth. Basically, Hauppauge, who are, as you know, the makers of one of the most popular gaming PVRs on the market, they released a statement back in June stating that their PVRs and other HDMI PVRs like it, like the Elgato and whatnot, will definitely work with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I will post the actual quote for you in a second here and let you read it for yourselves, but they basically say that they asked Sony employees themselves if it is possible to use their device with the PlayStation 4, and the answer was yes. The Sony employees themselves said it will be compatible because they are not encrypting the gameplay on the PlayStation 4. However, other things like Netflix, Blu-ray movies, music, stuff like that will be encrypted. You will not be able to copy that kind of stuff. And this makes total sense to me because think about it. You buy a video game and you have gameplay. Why shouldn't you be able to share your gameplay with your friends? You're not pirating anything. You're not stealing anything. This is your gameplay. It's not the same as like copying a movie or copying a CD or even copying a show off Netflix and showing people, because that's not yours. Those things aren't yours. Those things belong to somebody else. This game you bought, yeah, sure, it's made by somebody else, but the game now belongs to you. And the gameplay itself definitely belongs to you because you're controlling that character, you're controlling that game. So whatever you do in the game is your personal addition to that game. So for you to not be able to record your own gameplay and share it is pretty bad. And I don't think Sony is dumb enough to implement something like that. Now I know they have it on the PlayStation 3, but the PlayStation 3 was the first and only console to come out with a Blu-ray player in it, and it was the Blu-ray player itself that caused the problem because the Blu-ray player was the source of all the high definition material, so they just HDCP'd the whole Blu-ray drive. Now, since Xbox One has come out and fully said that HDCP will not affect gameplay recording, so you can use your external capture devices with the Xbox One, that tells me and everybody else that it is possible to remove the HDCP encryption on the gaming alone and leave it on with the movies and leave it on with the Netflix and all that other stuff, but leave it off for the gaming. So if Sony doesn't do that, then they're really kicking themselves in the ass because there are a whole lot of YouTubers like myself who really like recording gameplay. And I know that the PS4's got an internal DVR that records HD gameplay, but it has not been confirmed whether or not it's a 720p gameplay or 1080p gameplay, 30 frames, 60 frames. It's not confirmed. However, it is rumored that it records at a full 1080p, 60 frames per second. And the reason for that is because at the February PlayStation reveal, when they played the Killzone Shadows Fall demo and then they shared it via the share button, uploaded it to the internet, it was uploaded in full 1080p. Now, some people argue this and say, no, it was only 720, blah, 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 but the video is available to watch in 1080p. That's a fact. So if the internal PVR can record at 1080p, then why wouldn't an external PVR be able to record at 1080p? That, to me, doesn't make much sense. So if there was HDCP in the PlayStation 4 on gaming, I don't see how it could record 1080p gameplay or even 720p gameplay with the HDCP present. So that's just something that I thought of personally, and that makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you. If it doesn't make sense to you, then try to explain it to me, because I just don't see how, I just don't see how it's possible for it to record, internally in HD, but not externally in HD. It doesn't make sense to me. So that's where I stand with this. I really don't see Sony making this big boo-boo and, not letting guys record their gameplay. It would be a suicide move in my opinion. But you never know. You never know what kind of things these companies are thinking and what they're doing. The biggest problem with all of this is that Sony has not made a statement themselves. I've reached out to Sony. I've reached out to PlayStation Twitter, PlayStation Canada Twitter. I've reached out to Sony Twitter. I've messaged people that are in the loop, like employees at IGN, stuff like that. Guys are answering me, but they're saying they don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to find an answer before the console comes out. The fact that they're not saying anything is sort of a bad sign, but you never know. So, who really knows? The bottom line is, whatever you hear these days, take it with a grain of salt. Don't take everything like it's a fact. Don't believe everything you hear. As of right now, that statement from Hauppauge back in June is sticking with me. They asked Sony employees themselves, and they claimed that it is possible to record with these devices. So based on that alone, I think that's a more reliable source than these Machinima guys who don't even claim who their source is. But that's just me. That's just what I believe, and maybe my hopes are high. I don't know. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. Leave a comment below, like and subscribe. Thanks a lot for listening. Vile Self, out.